Hiding your Jewishness is one thing. Hiding your conversion is another. I think I'm ready to go back into hiding, y'all. Shalom everyone, my name's S and I'm taking you on my conversion journey. Now if you aren't subscribed to my channel, check down below to make sure you're subscribed, and also check out my Patreon where you'll find exclusive videos of me on my lovely conversion journey. I also have written 3 ebooks you could check down below to make sure you download all of them and see if they can help you on your spiritual journey. So let's get into today's video. Every now and then, I look back at my old videos and I miss the days where I had 1 subscriber because I wasn't as cautious of what I say, and I was kind of saying whatever I wanted. And I'm not saying I can't do that now. The standards and the stakes are just higher now. That's what you get when you put yourself out there. And I'm just now getting used to this YouTube game. I came across this Chabad article that said, is it okay to hide your Jewishness? At first, I was just like, yeah, people are crazy and hide it, hide it, hide it. But then it made me think of my conversion and how I was in the beginning, where I was extremely secretive. I didn't want anyone to know. I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid to be myself. I also was afraid to become Jewish, not because I didn't believe in it or the culture. It was more so I just was afraid of what comes after becoming Jewish. What would people say? What would they think about me? It was things like that that made me think twice about putting myself out there completely. Eventually, obviously, I broke through and here I am now. So I will link that article down below so you guys could read along. But I got a few key points out of it that I do want to discuss. One point the rabbi made clear in this article was you can't hide it per se. Eventually, your Jewishness will come out. And it's similar in my conversion. It came out faster than I thought, quicker than I wanted. And I'm also happy it happened that way because it made me realize that I need to accept who I am and what I'm doing and the reality of it. One of the biggest things that were holding me to hide myself was all the guilt that I was feeling. The guilt of leaving my community. Essentially, what I am doing is I'm leaving another community, another culture, and entering another one. Even though I don't feel that way, I will always be a Haitian girl. Like, I will always be my parents' child. My life continuing from the point I go into that mikveh to the end of my life, I will be living a Jewish one. And some people can't comprehend, why on earth would you do this? What are you doing? But in my eyes, I just see myself becoming a more spiritual person, connecting with a culture that aligns with my values and my beliefs. Many things in my conversion were very difficult to hide. I'm keeping Shabbat, I'm eating kosher, I'm in class 24/7, I'm reading 24/7, I'm listening to audios 24/7. And even though I do live alone, I still have parents and family that I need to go see. So when I'm there, there's not a switch that you just turn off your Jewishness. Like, it's with you forever. It's an orbit that surrounds you everywhere you go. When I'm around my family, I still keep that part of me. At first, it was very difficult to suppress it. I was trying to tap into the old me so they aren't shocked at who I was becoming. But I eventually came to the conclusion that it's just better for me to let myself be the person I want to be. Let myself be Jewish, and organically my family will get used to this new person that I've become. There's just no need to hide it. It's too hard to hide. And if you are in hiding, get out. Like, it's a happier, more fulfilling life when you're just being the person you're becoming. And I understand throughout history, Jewish people had to hide who they were to save their lives. And I think as a convert, when you're coming into this, you have a duty to show who you are becoming very loud, very clear. And it's not going to be easy. It's not easy for me at all. Like, people think that it's like a big jolly like road to Judaism for me, and it has not. I've been insulted, I've been laughed at. People do double takes when I say that I'm converting, to the point that I feel like, you know what, I'm not telling anyone this anymore, because the responses I get still at this point in my journey, it's just not going to end. And sometimes I do want to go hide under a rock and not talk to anybody anymore about this, because they will never understand it. And it puts more stress on me to get them to that level of understanding. And sometimes I do just want to flick that switch and just be like, you know what, I'm not talking to you anymore. And it is what it is. If you don't agree with me becoming Jewish, I'm just going to hide it from you. But what that does is that does me a disservice to my commitment to become Jewish. It makes me resent everyone around me. Like recently, I was eating food and people are like, is that kosher? Is that kosher? And I'm like, why are you clocking everything that I eat? Why are you clocking everything that I wear? Like, that's not your job. You aren't Hashem. You aren't my parent. And you're not my rabbi. Like, even so, my own rabbi wouldn't be doing this, because, like I said, becoming Jewish is my choice. I'm not going to get in trouble for not doing anything. I'm moving at my own pace. But it's things like this, when you're under this microscope and people know that you're changing, they know you're going through a spiritual journey. People just want to hover over you and just, it could lead you to want to hide things. And don't fall victim to that. You have to be able to just stand tall, stand up straight, and just be strong in your beliefs and what you're doing, because you know you're doing something right. I never thought that I would have to hide my conversion or hide my Jewishness after I go to the mikvah. I'm speaking for myself. When I'm actually Jewish, I wonder how I'm going to feel once I step out of the mikvah. Am I going to just prance around like, you insulted me, I'm Jewish now, and you know, like, that for me isn't my personality. Like, I'm not someone to start fights in the streets. I'm not someone to just argue with people all the time. I don't think I'm an angry person. I don't like confrontation that way. Recently, I was at a kosher grocery store and I asked for a membership. The lady was like, it's for people who come here often. I get what she was saying. Like, she, just by looking at me, even though I was dressed pretty modest, wearing a skirt and all that, even though I may have looked the part, she just assumed that I wasn't Jewish. I'm going to get that a lot. I'm probably going to get that for the rest of my life. I'm not insulted by it, but it just made me look back like, is it worth it? After all that I've done, after all that I've learned and all that I've become, is it worth it in the end to fight everyone who assumes I'm not Jewish? Should I just silence myself? Should I just, I know that's like contradictory to what I was just saying, but it's a totally different feeling when you're in the process compared to when you're actually Jewish and living a Jewish life. And I know this because I've spoken to other converts who have felt this way and went through this process. And from what I got from this article and from speaking to other converts, eventually it all comes out. It all comes out. Your Jewishness will come out, because there are going to be times when you're going to have to stand up for another Jewish person, or you're going to have to defend what you believe in, defend how you eat, defend how you daven. With that comes with the exposure that you're Jewish. And I wonder how I'm going to deal with it when that moment comes. I don't see myself like pretending to be somebody that I'm not. Like, I'm still authentically me. I feel like I've evolved. If you watch from the beginning of my journey to now, I've definitely have morphed into a more spiritual person. Am I going to, in the end of all this, pretend to not be Jewish publicly? I don't think I am. But I do know that once I come out of the mikvah, I will have a totally different energy around me. I'm sure it will be positive. I'm sure I'm going to feel like a new woman. But once I step into this new life, I'm like every other Jew on the planet. Most Jews I do know do still hide their Jewishness because they don't want to deal with the anti-Semitism. They don't want to deal with the ridicule. They don't want to deal with the ignorance. I can understand that. So it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely something that I've been thinking about more frequently. And this article definitely woke me up to pay more attention to this. So you guys tell me, do you guys hide your Jewishness, or do you guys just wear it loud and proud? Tell me, because I've been Black my entire life. I don't know if you guys know. And it's not something I had to hide. It's not something I ever had to hide, but I'm constantly being told that I'm oppressed and that I'm this and that. So, but it wasn't something that held me back. It wasn't something that I needed to scream at the top of my lungs that I'm Black, you know, like, but now that I'm becoming Jewish, it takes it to another level. So I want to hear from you guys. So how do you live your Jewish life? Are you somebody who just, you're at home, you do your things when you're at home, and when you step out in the world, you're just like everyone else? But deep down, you know, you're doing mitzvahs, you're saying your brachot, you're doing what needs to be done to live and be authentically Jewish? Or are you someone who goes to the extremes and is screaming from the rooftops that you're Jewish? I'm working on how to approach this part in my life. It's a strange situation for me because, you know, I have a lot of people in my life who know little to nothing about Judaism. So it is going to be a challenge for me to try my best to not make everything about me. Because ironically, even though I am on YouTube, I'm not somebody who prances around and needs the spotlight on her 24/7. I'm very humble. Like, I don't need the conversation to be about me all the time. With becoming Jewish comes with a lot of questions from all types of sides. In the beginning, I was hiding, and then I went into a phase of me just being loud and proud, and then now I'm like kind of going into a phase where I'm like, maybe I should calm it down a bit. So I'm looking for some help here. So you guys tell me down below, should I hide my Jewishness or should I not? Thank you guys so much for watching my video. This was kind of more of, I guess, one of my emotional topics of what I go through psychologically throughout this journey. So if you like my content, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll be linking some other videos for you guys to watch on my journey. Also, you could support me by subscribing to my Patreon down below for as little as $1. And don't forget to download your free ebooks down below. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next video. Shalom.